couple of weeks back, I decided to play through the original Spider-Man game by Neversoft, and all things considered, I had a really good time with it. I thought it was a great game, so naturally, I was excited to play its sequel, Spider-Man Enter Electro. And not to spoil a surprise, but this game is exactly the same as the first one, just worse in every possible way.
Sense lady, Zeus says what?
Just 6 of you against 1 woman?
There's 3 people there, you fucking dumbass. You see, the thing about sequels is they generally fit into one of 2 categories. The first is where the developers use the original game as a foundation, and they develop upon all of the mechanics to create a new, yet reminiscent experience. The second is where they just copy and paste the first game, make a few changes here and there, and call it a day. I bet you're thinking I'm gonna say this game fits into the second category. Wrong. This game doesn't fit into any of these categories. This game has its own category. This game copy and pastes the first one and then decides to make everything worse. Why did they do this, you might ask? I don't fucking know. I probably maybe should look into it. There's probably a reason. And just to clarify, this is my opinion. If you like this game, I'm happy for you. Matter of fact, I agree with you on everything you've ever thought in your life, okay? So be nice to me. But let's go through it together and I will explain to you why this game doesn't work. The graphics. The graphics are better. So what do I mean when I say this game is just a copy and paste of the first? Well, I simply mean it has the exact same gameplay mechanics. There may be minor tweaks here and there, like freeze webs instead of flame webs, but more or less it plays exactly the same as the first. Swinging's the same, combat's the same, movement's the same. To clarify, I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing. Many games do this, and I really like them. Prime example would be Arkham Origins. It plays exactly the same as Arkham City, but it also brings some new and interesting things. A great story, some great boss battles, some new gadgets. It basically just gives me enough new things to justify it being so similar to its predecessor. Another example could be Spider-Man Miles Morales. Even though it is just glorified DLC, it still changes enough and improves upon the first one enough that it's worth your time and your money. Unfortunately, none of this is present in Spider-Man Enter Electro. Buckle up, because this section is the whole rest of the video. Okay, so the first and most glaring downgrade to me is the story. I just finished the game today, and from my memory, I'm pretty sure the story is Electro wants a thing that makes him strong, and he goes and gets that thing, but we don't want him to get that thing, so we fight him. On a serious note, whose idea was it to have Electro be the main villain of this game? Who the fuck saw Carnage and Venom combined and thought, you know what, for the bigger and better sequel, we really need Electro? Like, what? This guy? Really?
With a wave of my finger and a flick of my dick, one zap from me will kill you quick, so get on your knees to suck and blow, but not right now, I've got to go! Fuck, I hate when he rhymes.
Alright, whatever. Last game we got boss fights with Scorpion, Rhino, Venom, Mysterio, Doc Ock, Carnage. This game we get Shocker, Hammerhead, Sandman, yeah, pretty cool. Lizard, pretty cool. Electro, I mean, I know what selection I prefer. And the last game was full of cameos. Here, the only cameo we get is Beast. Don't get me wrong, Beast's fucking cool. I like Beast. I just find it really strange how little cameos are in this game compared to the last one. The voice acting is seriously hilarious. I can't even call it bad. It is so funny.
Was never any good at poker.
No, so close, so close! If it weren't for Spider-Man, I'd be a god now! Would you shut up?
I promise you, I did not edit that in any way whatsoever. Whoever voiced Electro was clearly just here for the paycheck, and I love it. You know what? Peter here was great. A very Spider-Man-y Spider-Man, good quips, funny jokes, really good characterization.
Are you all right?
Did I get the license plate of that lightning bolt that struck me?
But the level design is a massive downgrade. There were so many cool set pieces in the last game, and here there just wasn't really anything notable for me whatsoever. This plane sequence was cool, I guess. I just felt like there was so much walking long distances, going from one place, press a button, to go to another place, to press another button. It's just dull. What is it with thugs hanging out on rooftops in these games? Hey, at least I get to walk on the streets of New York. I mean, there's nothing interesting here, but still. Oh, look at this. I can pretend we have a full web swinging system. I said in my last video that I really didn't have too much of an issue with the camera in the first game. Bit annoying here and there, but it really wasn't that bad. And for the most part, that remains. But having said that, it is notably worse here. There are bits of the game where the camera just won't look where I want it to look, and it fucks with me. It pisses me off. It fucking makes me fucking angry. But how about the boss fights? The boss fights were the best part of the first game. How do they do here? This was the most disappointing part of this game for me. I really enjoyed the boss fights in the first game. They were challenging, engaging, but not too hard. And in this game, it was just weird. The first boss fight was shocking. You were fighting Shocker. I found this battle really hard. You're supposed to defeat him by pulling on these boxes that smash him over the head. If you do it this way, he dies really quick. I didn't get the memo, so I just fought him without doing this. This was completely my fault, okay? It wasn't the game's fault. However, if I did it the way I was supposed to, it looks incredibly easy. I think you need to hit him twice and then he dies. And next was a train sequence with Sandman. I don't think I've ever raged more in my life. Okay, that's a lie. However, fuck this boss fight, bro. You have to chase a train and Sandman is trying to stop you with his walls. You have to fight him, destroy his walls in adequate time so you can get to the train. Again, I have to be honest, I'm gonna blame my dumbass for this. Upon watching a YouTube video, I found out you could throw these forklifts at Sandman and they do a serious blow of damage. For some reason, it didn't even cross my mind that I could do that, so I found it way harder than it was. Yeah, so my issue with it was that it was too hard, but in reality it wasn't too hard. I was just being a dumbass. So in retrospect, I'm gonna say this was a good boss fight. It was cool. And then the Beetle shows up. You don't get to fight him though. Nope, he just shows up, pisses off, just like that. The next boss fight was Hammerhead, and you guys are about to notice a pattern. I was struggling so much with this fight until I watched the YouTube tutorial and found out all you had to do was web yank his gun. Upon discovering that fact, this fight was so easy. Do you mind not shooting me through the wall? Okay. I'm gonna need your guys' opinion here. There's one of two things going on. Either I am really shit at video games and I lack critical thinking skills, which to be fair is the most likely option. Nowadays, games hold your hand with everything and I am so used to it that in my mind, it wasn't even an option. I wasn't even open to the possibility that I could do things without the game telling me I could do them. Or these things weren't exactly obvious and other people struggled with them too. But no matter the case, I still think it's bad because upon discovering these tactics, the boss fight becomes extremely easy, and without them, the boss fight feels impossible. Therefore, I have to say I don't like this Hammerhead boss fight. You'll be glad to know I took my thumb out of my ass and I did the rest of the boss fights properly. The next one was Lizard. This fight was really easy. You do a basic time-based puzzle thing, you pick up an antidote, you squirt it at him, and then he dies. And then we fight Sandman again. This was probably my favorite boss fight as it had a good balance between not being too easy and not being too hard. Granted, it's still nothing to write home about. And then we fight Electro twice. Unfortunately, these two fights were so easy. You beat him by like hiding behind a box and then he would shoot the box, become vulnerable, and then you could beat him up. It was so easy. I just felt like there was this weird whiplash between these boss fights. They were either too easy or too hard. They weren't all bad, but they just held nothing to the first game. Just everything about this game lacks the source of the original. Everything's darker. The original had this bright comic book style. Here, it's mostly gone. To conclude, this game is an absolute downgrade from the first one in almost every area. Apparently, they only had around a year to develop this game, so it was really rushed. On top of that, there were changes in the development team and there were budget cuts. The final fight was supposed to happen on the Twin Towers. Something happened to them, I think, in 2001. Something bad happened to them. I'm not really sure. I think it might have been on the news. But whatever it was, it meant they couldn't use the towers. It seems they cut some content too. I mean, there was this lost scene with 4, which looked pretty good. To put it clearly, I would not recommend this game. Play the first one. It's so much better. If you really loved the first one and you really wanted to play more of it, then, you know, try this game out. If not, steer clear. Despite the fact I've been chatting absolute shit about this game for the whole video, its foundations are still solid. It's still the continuation of a really good game, so therefore I can't hate it too much. The negativity in this video is purely a natural consequence of it being such a downgrade. Therefore, I would give this game a 5 out of 10, which for me means mid. Not good, but not bad. And here's where I would rank it in my superhero games list. Finally, if you like this video, please subscribe because I intend on making more videos like this. On screen, you'll see what I'm working on now. Anyway, thanks for watching.